Well, obviously a dominating team win. I was real proud of our football team for how we came out and our approach to the game. I told them beforehand it was time that we went out there and made our mark and quit making excuses for our youth and inexperience, and they did that. You look at some of the big things in the game. First of all, defensively, 5 turnovers and 5 sacks. I don't care who you play, when you have that kind of stat line, you're probably going to have a lot of success. On offense, it was a lot of big plays. We averaged 10 yards an attempt, which is phenomenal, and 50 points in the game. We were good on third downs, and so just a real productive performance on offense. Good kickoff coverage, field goals, a lot of good things in the game. But like any game, and like I told our team, there's lessons in wins and losses, and you can't feel too good when you win or get too down when you lose, because we had a lot of problems in the game too. Our pass protection was a struggle all night, and our efficiency in the run game continues to be well below standard, and we got to get better at that. On defense, we really struggled playing man-to-man coverage, and you saw it the first drive. Early in the game, we had to just keep playing man because we couldn't cover their guys. Our run fits weren't consistent enough, and that's why they popped a few runs, and tackling in space needs to get better. So we're still giving up. I mean, I think we gave up 3 plays over 25 yards again. So it's not going to bode well the better offense you play. Personnel-wise, let me just give you the rundown. Fulton is doubtful for this game. He's got an ankle injury. It used to be ankles were day to day. I don't know. We put him in big boots now, and you don't see him for a while. And it's helped. You know, it's really hurt us up front. We hadn't had any continuity all year in the development. We've had a lot of progress individually with our offensive linemen, but you go through the season, we played with 2 left tackles, 3 left guards, 3 centers, and 2 right guards. And it's hard to get continuity. And, and it hurt us the other night. When Fulton goes down, we have to pop Shaw over, and he hadn't played right guard in a long time. And you got a new center next to him. So, we were starting to get a good settling in there on the right side with Zach and Juwan, and everything gets thrown for a loop. And, those guys have to work together, and it's just hard. It's challenging. Luke is day to day. He has a concussion, so it's one of those deals you got to test him every day to see if he's recovered. Our usuals, no new news on them. Hope, Martin, and Vols. Daniel Lincoln, there's a good chance he may kick this week. We'll find out probably more on Tuesday. Oliver's full go, but he's really not ready. So even though it looks good on paper, man, they could really help you in the secondary. I think it's unrealistic to think that he will. Teague is day to day. We need Teague to be back. We'll find out more tomorrow. And there's no new news on Art. He's still working on clearing up his stuff. We anticipate him clearing up his stuff, but I don't know how long that's going to take. Ole Miss, it's a big game for both teams. Both teams have probably not had the wins that they both wanted or expected coming into the year. And there's a lot of implications here in November for both squads. So, we're going to get their best shot, I know. And they've scored a lot of points and run for a lot of yards. And that's the thing that frightens you the most from our defensive standpoint. And we hadn't really done a very good job of keeping points down. So that's going to be a challenge. They lead the conference in punt return, so that's helped them on field position. And the big thing you notice on their defense is they've gotten 25 sacks, and their 2 interior guys, I would say, are playing as well as anybody in the league, the 2 defensive tackles. Down to down, game to game, play to play. They are absolutely relentless and disruptive. And I'm sure they will be ready for this game when they watch the film. So big challenge for us, and what we have to do is continue to build on some of the success we had last week, and I'm sure our team will be energized because of it. We'll see how we do. So you guys take it away.
Like you gave the team a practice off again today?
Yeah, well, it's another one of those, you know, we have about a 5-6 game stretch in a row. Alabama, South Carolina, Memphis, and then 6 games. And so at some point in the middle there, you want to give them the Monday. So it kind of fits with what we did earlier in the year.
You said you were waiting for one of the QBs to prove that they could be the starter. Did Matt do that? And how do you evaluate it knowing you went up against a weak secondary?
Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say he didn't do enough. I mean, to make a statement, that'd be kind of a ridiculous comment by me, because he had a phenomenal first half. And, you know, I made the statement last night. It pains me a little bit to say he played well, because you know, he's a freshman. He went in there in his first game, but he played really well. I mean, he made some great throws. He avoided the rush very well. He got rid of the ball and took some hard shots. You know, if you didn't watch the game, you'd think, well, it was probably easy. It was. You know, we had him mismatched on the back end, but up front, I mean, we didn't block him. And so guys were in his face all night. So that was good to see. It wasn't like he was back there all day, and I think that's a good evaluation. Getting to your point of how do you evaluate him, I think it was a decent evaluation for what lies ahead. But we also, you have to keep it in perspective. It's one game. One game has never made a quarterback. It's never made a team. And it certainly won't in this case. So we go week to week, and that's all we can do with Tyler.
Will you give him more first team practice snaps at this point?
We'll make that decision tomorrow, but he's getting adequate reps. I don't think, you know, we got to keep repping Matt. We're going to need Matt. The minute you think you don't, you're going to be in a game and, okay, let's go. And I'm going to tell you, Matt's been great. That's a hard thing. You know, we take for granted a lot. How things like this affect a young man. We take it for granted even in the professional ranks. We just become so, what's the word?
Jaded. Hardened.
I don't want to use the word insensitive because it's a soft term and we're talking football here. But you know, when guys get moved, it's hard. And I was proud of Matt. You know, Matt was great when he went in the game. His demeanor was great. He was supportive, and that's not something you should take for granted. It's a hard thing.
Derek, are you over the course of your career typically one that likes to split first team quarterback snaps for you? And we were talking to Coach Cheney about that last week. He said in his past it's been like more 90% first team guy, and then the other guy gets the rest of them. But he said you're more.
Yeah, I think what he's referring to, Dave, is the amount of reps. It's the reps with the twos. So when the two line goes in and the two receivers and everything, some people just keep repping the first team quarterback. It's kind of the NFL model. In the NFL, the backup gets 0 reps. You don't get any reps. But to me, college is more player development. And I think there's a greater chance you play a second quarterback in college. You see guys, it's rare for a starting quarterback to go through the season without getting dinged up, hurt, doesn't perform well, something. So you better keep the other guy developing. Plus, because quarterback takes so much development, they need the reps. And so we're going to continue to rep Matt. And, you know, the way we've been doing it, I've just been doing it the same for, you know, the last 10 years short of the NFL time. I think it's important. You know, I think that's what Jim was referring to. I don't know, I'll have to ask him.
You think Tyler's done a better job with his film study lately, or has he been good about that all the way?
I think he's taken a lot better approach week to week in understanding the game plan, that sort of thing. I still don't know if he knows what coverage the other team plays, and you know, it drives Coach Henshaw crazy, but it doesn't bother me at all. You know, he just sees an open guy or a covered guy and knows where to place the ball. I'm good with that. You know, I think we can overcoach things sometimes. So I think that'll come in time, but his approach, and I'll say this, Jimmy, the last month was when we started seeing a lot more professional approach to the week. Maybe that's a better way to say it. As far as how he practiced, how he studied the game plan so he could go out and have a good practice, you know, understand where the other guys are supposed to be lined up, not just come out there and take a snap and wing it.
What
Do you
was the
think-
catalyst?
I don't know. I just think
You
it's,
didn't have a meeting with him or anything?
well, yeah, I've been having them for 8 months. You know, so those didn't help. Eventually, you know, I think what happens is, it's called maturity, and everybody does it at a different pace. Some guys, it takes them 3 years. It doesn't mean he's where he needs to be. So let's don't think he's in there, you know, grinding away. But it just means he acknowledges that this might be a little more difficult than what it was like in high school.
Coach, you talked about
He
how
sees the field well.
Yes, I do.
one of his strengths.
I think he does. He sees things that, I think he's just an instinctive thrower. You know, he has a good feel for the rush and where the breakdowns are starting to occur. He has an ability to get rid of it quickly, which you need to have when you play quarterback to avoid negative plays. And I think he's got a good feel for where to place the ball. You know, there's an old saying, it's not the coverage they're in, it's how they play the coverage. You know, so many people get caught up and throw it to that guy in this coverage, throw it to this guy in that coverage. It really doesn't matter. Because when you play good teams, they're all covered at some point, but it's where do you place the ball to give your receivers a chance. And you saw a lot of those balls the other night where it looks like receivers are making really good plays, but it makes it easy for them to make that play because you're placing the ball away from the defender's leverage.
Derek, I was kind of surprised. The players seemed really excited about how well Tyler did. Just, you know, even talking to Malik about it, he just brought it up. Why do you think the players were so impressed with what Tyler did Saturday?
I think it has to do with probably the same reason a lot of the fans are excited, because we scored a lot of points. And anytime you score a lot of points, it brings a lot of hope for where we're headed. But I also caution them all to get too excited because it's, like I say, it's one game. But, you know, it's fun to sit there in a half and you put 40 in a half. And it's fun to watch. It was fun to watch on the sideline. It energized the players. I think it energized the receivers. You know, they were running faster and faster as the game went on. But also, you know, we out-personneled them too. So I'm just a little cautious to be sitting here saying we're going to be slinging it on everybody.
Will